Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the Immortal Thor issue 23, 2023. Oh, crazy. We got all kinds of labyrinth kind of stuff. Now, we were dealing with that before, but we are now dealing with the thing in there. To be lower than a worm is to be higher than a king. From the atheist tragedy, Cyril Tourneur. Let's see how that works out. The tale began at the beginning. It began in primal time, when the demiurge gazed upon the darkness of the deep and brought forth the primal entities, the elder gods. Not gods as we count gods now, but greater far, for each was an aspect of the demiurge given life, a primordial concept given form. Very interesting to see that shit going on. Ugh! One was chaos and dark power, one was the wisdom of a long winter, one was the very joy and horror of life itself. Why would there not be one who was a king? Interesting. Kimur was he called. Kimur, born with a horned crown upon his skull, and thus ordained ruler of all. Incarnated as the very concept of rule. In the time before thrones, he was the throne, and he bellowed to all on the earth to bow before him. Those who did not bow he cut with his blade and gored with his horns. Those who did bow he trampled with his hooves. In the greater god war that consumed the world in that earliest time, he made alliances only to break them, spoke of peace only to spit on it. He was rule for rule's sake, and none could challenge his rule. And that is shit. How a lot of people view it. Save for one. For deep beneath the rock, the new seed had been born. Atum, son of Gaia, child of the demiurge itself, had risen from the soil and descended from the sun. Some call him the first true god, the man of fire that signaled a new era of marvels. Atum Democide, Atum slayer of gods, Atum breaker of thrones. Kimur faced him first, and time held its breath. That's just gnarly there, just seeing them just getting ready to face off. Wait a minute. Let me see here. So we're like, okay, so that's kind of how that worked out. And of course we see other kind of ones that we didn't introduce to on that page as he's going through and hacking and slashing. Now time held its breath again. Kimur stood, shaking ancient blood and dust from matted fur, and gazed upon the new sky god before him, half-brother to the hated Atum. The milk blood of Gaia ran in this one's veins, and the ice blood of Tiwaz, the wintry mocker. Neither had bowed to him in that time long past. Kimur remembered that. Kimur remembered everything. For a moment, Kimur wondered if he could make this one bow. But Thor's gaze held the answer to that. Hermod? No, this one would not bow, thought Kimur. It's like, shit. Seeing, I love being able to see the perspective there, and just Kimur just looks gnarly. It's like, come on, Thor. Not until he was made to. Catch, I, my liege. As he pretty much tosses Mjolnir to get Heimdall taken down. Her! I have you, Heimdall. Hermod told you, run, find Thor. Shh. Don't talk, my friend. Only look. Thor is with us. The king is here. Thor was gladdened by Hermod's faith in him, and yet he was wary. And of course, I love that we see Mjolnir go and then circle back around and come back to Thor. That's really cool ass page shit there. Yeah. For he knew what it was he fought. This beast is no mere monster, but a god from before the gods. And I have but two of the three magical weapons Loki said I would need, and my allies are few, loyal friends though they be. It's like, yep, you've got some, but it might not be enough. Only give the order, my liege, and the executioner will die fighting thy cause. Mayhap we will, all will, Scourge, but hold back for now. That is my command. Aye, and there's the rub. An elder god is a living idea. To gaze on him is to know his nature, who he is, and what. And can a ruler fight the embodiment of rule? Can a king battle kingship? Thor hesitated for only a moment, but Kimur saw it, and Kimur knew. And it's like, yeah, that's a hard thing to fight. How do you go about that? And I love stories like this that bring up those kind of things. This would not be like before. Hurrah! As Kimur throws himself. And I like that we only get like certain kind of sounds before getting the Skald, Loki, relaying what's going on in Khmer's head. Khmer's new strength was an action, to think instead of do, to consider the consequences instead of create and revel in them. These things were for the weak, for the small, and that's why he will fail. So we see Thor getting cracked on. It's like, shit. Not for kings. Khmer felt the old dark joy build in the empty cavern of his heart. He would break the long hair's back first, make him crawl. Crawling was not quite as good as bowing, but it would do. If it could be achieved, I say thee nay. And I love how Thor's like down, but then him doing that, and this really showcases him saying nay and backing it up. And this one didn't have any kind of issues either with pages or whatnot. Just really fucking awesome quality. Mjolnir, greatest of hammers, rang like an Uru bell, yet withstood. And Tormod, symbol of Thor's wit and wile, flew like an arrow. For he would hesitate no more, tossing it right into his shoulder. It's like, shit. First blood is struck. Now, Hermod, we press the attack. It's like, okay, be careful. The axe in Khmer's flesh stung. But what stung more was the noise. For Asgard! The shrill, sharp noise of these little things, of their voices raised so impudently. Did they think they were alive as Khmer was alive? Did they think they mattered? It would not do. It's like, and that's the problem there. It's like, yes, they matter. Even with things that are smaller than you, they matter. It's like, what the fuck? He would have to put his foot down, and he did, and it's like shit. One stomp of his hoof, and the earth quakes like Mjolnir itself had struck it. He is mighty indeed, and unbowed by all our assaults. He pays no more heed to my axe blade in his chest than he would to a ring through his... And it's like, okay, Thor now has an idea. God. Scourge, you seem pained. Forgive me, my liege. When battle is joined, the blood axe wakes, and it wakes hungry, as we see the blades sprouting out from the handle and impaling Scourge's hand. And Thor's look is like, shit. Then tell thy weapon this fight is far from over, my friend, and it will soon know the time to strike. A poor omen of Scourge's own axe has lost faith in him. It's like, shit. And taking off his the rest of his cape as he's still kind of injured. And Khmer seems undeterred by mine, yet I have a second magical weapon. One, my golden belt, Yoggjord, that I created from Zeus's own thunder to answer the riddle of Urus, representing the Aurochs, Adumbla's children, the wild cattle, primal beasts that gave milk and life, yet raged and ran and brought death in a stampede of hooves. I hear Loki in my memory, as if they were here now. Unlike the Aurochs, this primal beast gives naught but wrath and hate, yet it must be tamed. Through the Odin force, I reshaped Zeus's power into this golden belt. Let me now shape it again, and we shall see if wit may accomplish what force has not. It's like, let's see what he's doing, making a golden ring for, of course, the nose. Rah! And if a Skyfather's might and an Allfather's skill can tame an elder god, Thor took to the air, swift as his own racing thoughts, and 'twas then Scourge saw the Allfather's intent. A gold ring? I am no great planner, Hermod, but I know a plan when I see one, and how to add our part to it. Tell me, how much weight can you carry? As I love this close-up on Scourge kind of figuring out Thor's plan. It's like, alright. The godling was not bowing. He was not crawling. He was not doing any of the things he should be. Khmer felt a sudden and unfamiliar chill, but it was not fear. It was not. Tell yourself that. Come, great king of Utgard. Speak to me as an equal, a fellow monarch. Fear of a little nothing like this? Never. Impossible. After all, I have come all this way to thy very throne. Khmer lunged for Thor, with a gift of gold in my hand. And that is just great. We see it building up, and him just slamming the ring through his nose. And was caught. And in that moment of humiliation, he felt a new sting in his chest, sharper than any blade. The sting of memory. And then we see what happened between Khmer and Atum. Atum descended from the sun, Atum, of whom the earth had warned and the sky had whispered. To see him was to know him was to fear him, for this was God's death, born in flesh and fire. Yet was the greatest of the gods not kingly Khmer? Did he not wear the crown? Did he not bear the great sword? The elder gods drew back from them both. This would be the moment, they all knew. This contest would decide all their fates, as we see Utgard Loki as well. It's like, oh shit. Nothing breathed, nothing twisted. Atum glowed brighter. Kimmer gripped his blade, his muscles tensed, readying, and as Atum raised a fiery hand, he ran. With his sword in hand, he ran. With his horns like knives, he ran. On his trampling hooves he ran and hid and cowered, and he prayed to Atum God-Killer that his dreadful fire might leave none behind who knew the truth Khmer had etched in stone that day, showing even the concept of rule and of kingliness can be a coward. Ugh! That all kings are cowards, that the strength of any king is a lie, true only to those who would believe in it. Dropping the truth in the wisdom. That is the way, old one. Rage at Thor who leads thee by the nose, and look not at thy feet. And if there is one who makes it true, who lives bravely, who faces death for their people, who values justice for all over power for one, on, Hermod, on! As we see Hermod carrying the scourge. I like this plan not, who commands not through fear and inertia, but through love, a loyalty and love, aye, and nor does he. Then that is no king. It's like, and we see the difference between Thor and Kimmer. The blood axe slamming into his leg. That is a story. True, Thor letting go. And now, beast of ages, and for a story to have meaning, for a story to be true, you will fall. It must be able to end. Understand ye yet, or what? It's like, shit. And I really like the vertical panels there as they just show Kimmer falling, Thor throwing Mjolnir, and Mjolnir striking home, just going down. Kimmer's shame burned, as the Gaia Spawn had so long ago. These nothings had brought him down, brought him low. And then we see Loki ripping their horn off. It's like, what the fuck? Yet they would learn. Kimmer would teach them. A humiliated king was like a wounded bull, changing the horn into an arrow. Most dangerous in its wrath, right between the eyes, lining up their shot. It's like, shit. And hitting right between the eyes. It's like, shit. And so a king's story was ended by the only weapon that could do it. I'm sorry, Thor. Dead. An ignoble death for an ignoble beast. But what could strike such a blow? A piece of eternity that fell into my hands. It's like, geez, that's a big thing to have and utilize. Centuries ago, it was forged into a weapon to end the power of kings. It seemed a good way to end this one. Interesting of ending the power of kings. As I recall, I banished you from my sight, and I used the all-power to do it. Then the all-power must have little sway here, brother. Seen as we had zoomed in on Thor's face. Then zoom out to reveal Loki. Because I've been here the whole time. Shall we go? I'm so sorry. Seeing Heimdall sitting there. It's like, oh shit. As we then see if they be worthy. And then I'll look at the next issue. We're getting close. The Last Stand. Oh, that's really kind of cool because you also see the axe reflecting in the blood there. Damn. The omens could no longer be denied. The prophecy could no longer be delayed. The hour had come. Now the Odinson stood between the gods of Utgard and all they would break asunder, and he stood alone. This is the story of the immortal Thor and how he faced his end. So, I really liked that this showcased and gave us an understanding of who Kimmer was. I'm like, what's going on here? Battling another kind of greater kind of Minotaur, and him being the embodiment of kingly rule and being a coward and running from Atum, and how Thor and the rest of them were able to figure out him changing up his one of his weapons, Yolgord, into a ring and then taking him out. But then Loki being the one to deliver the final blow, having a piece of eternity. What's their end game? What's going on here? And it's like, okay, and what are the repercussions of killing the thing that represents kingly rule? Does that mean Thor's not a king anymore? All that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, we're getting metaphysical and kind of crazy in here, but like, what are these gods and stories has been a central kind of theme and thesis for this run, as we've seen. So it's like, what's going on here? It's like, what's going to happen with Scourge, with Hermod and Heimdall, and we're still locked in Utgard. There, we've got 2 issues left before this comes to its kind of conclusion, and then of course we will get a relaunch. But how will this story end? I really been enjoying this run. I had not really read any Ewing's stuff before, but this has been one of my favorite runs of Thor. Like I liked Jason Aaron's run. I liked Donny Cates. I liked how we kind of finished up the last bit, and this has just been a really good one, and is really one of those kind of greats. I'm just happy for the ride, and I know it'll come to an end eventually, and then I'm going to be looking forward to seeing who will take out the mantle next. But I just like this ride, and I can't wait to see where we go. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.